No, I get it.
on here. We'll do that as we get into the nuts and bolts, of that. However, discussing with sellers and having dialogues regarding what they believe the price is and what it is actually is something worth having.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. No,
Uh,
I think that's important. He's like me. I think my house is probably worth more than it really is. And
okay, so
that's going to be a delicate
yeah,
conversation, to say, hey, your house really isn't worth, 700K.
it's not as delicate as you think. For
Nope,
I
I
mean,
agree.
it's it's a really valid conversation, and I don't want to diminish any owner's right to think that they can get whatever they want for their property. At the same token, whatever price they ask for and it's not sold, they continue to buy it back at that price every day because they're going to be the only one believing in that price. And if it's not selling, then they're the one buying it every day that it's not sold. So, good morning, Marilee.
Good morning.
That didn't sound like.
So,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes, you did. I can tell you're on the road, and thank you. Pay attention to the road. So, Jim, you can be. We'll just go around the table real quick and just have some real quick, dialogue about what I think my home is worth, and then sort of, introduce some dialogue about how the process will unfold. Um, and let's just say right now, we can either be in person or over the phone. Um, so, well, let's just say we're over the phone. Hey, Jim, thanks for we're gonna you're great. You're going to be coming out tomorrow, and I'm really, thinking my house is in the low 800s. I know, Zillow is saying about 815, and so you know, I saw a house down around the corner from ours that it sold for over 8, and my house is in a better lot in the neighborhood.
I look forward to our appointment tomorrow, Todd. I have
Yeah.
done some preliminary homework,
Hmm.
and I'm bringing that with me. What I like to do is give you all the data to where you can make an informed decision. At the end of the day, there's three prices really for your home, right? There's what the seller wants, there's what the buyer wants to pay, and then there's the actual reality of what the actual value of the home is and what it'll
Hmm.
appraise for. I mean, if I was a seller, I mean, for my house, if it's worth 800, maybe I want 1 million. But at the end of the day, if I get you a buyer for an overpriced home, it still has to appraise. And so tomorrow,
Right.
when I sit down with you, I'm going to present to you what Redfin shows you, what Zillow shows you, what our
Hmm.
Northwest MLS has what we call an AVM value, automated valuation, and what that value is. And then I'm going to show you around your community, around your neighborhood, what the actual homes are selling for, the like kind homes are selling for. These are going to
Hmm.
be the same homes that when we do get a buyer, that the appraiser is going to use. And so at the end of the day, I've got to present you with the information that when we do find the buyer, the appraiser is going to use as well, and that we'll be able to have a smooth and timely close with.
Okay. Well, I'll see you here in a couple days. I still want $800,000 for my house.
I understand. I know what you're trying to accomplish, and at the end of the day, we sit down tomorrow. I'm going to lay out
Okay.
all the information for you, and
Okay.
we'll build a strategy and a marketing plan together, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling.
Just go to bed and dream 800, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Right.
Hey, dude, that's how you said all this good shit, and I just ignored it and said, I still want 800.
Yeah.
I've
already
happens,
gotten the objection that, hey, I've got all the crown molding and none of the other houses have crown molding.
So then that's where I say, you know, there's it's what I call niceties. Okay, there's things about a home that are going to be nice and attractive to a buyer, but at the end of the day, it doesn't boil down to what brings value to the property, right?
Marketability versus value. So,
and I never really want, you never really want to over the phone or over email.
No.
You want to just kind of give them generalization. You want to get that point to where you're sitting down face to face, displaying all the information to them and educating them. And then it's going to just carry conversation to the realization of what the market holds for that property's value.
I am chomping at the bit. I am chomping at the bit for this one. So, Douglas, bring it on, buddy.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
For me to give you pitch you, or
no? So well, that'll happen, but you're going to be me as I was with Jim.
Oh,
in the last
hey,
scenario.
Todd, thanks for calling, stopping by the office today. You know, it's good to see you. You know, I just want to let you know I've been looking at some of the properties you've been sending me, but I'm going to have to sell my house first so that I have adequate funds to get into one of these new homes.
Okay.
You know, I know we need to talk about price, and my house is the best on the block. There's no other property that's as nice as my house. The other properties have all sold at 800. And, you know, I've got the new granite countertops. I've got the new flooring. I've got all the crown molding. So I think that my house is going to sell and exceed for, you know, way more than 800,000.
Well, here, I got some fantastic news for you. I only sell the best houses on everyone's block. I've got the very best tools to get you the highest price value for your property. And I have the latest and the greatest approach to pricing property. So we're going to assure that you are going to get top dollar for your home. You know, whether it's 800, 815, 790, whatever it is, we will get top dollar for your property, because every penny we get out of this home, Douglas, is going to make it easier for you to handle your next mortgage. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, that's where I am, because I'm, you know, now that's kind of where I am, is that now I need to prepare something to show.
Okay, so now push into me a little bit more, because I'm not going to try to go into everything. I just matched what you said. I got the best house on the block, and I got all these really great things. I'm like, great. I only sell best houses on every block, and I have the latest and greatest tools that will ensure that you will get highest possible dollar amount. Because you and I are both speaking the same language as what it is that you want out of the property, and understand to maximize the sales price will also maximize and create comfort in your next purchase. Okay. And then now I want you to say, Todd, if you can't get $800,000, just don't bother coming out.
Yeah, well, if you can't get 800,000, then that's you know, we're a no-go. I mean, we need that, and we feel it's worth that. And you know, our house certainly shows better than all the other houses on the block. So
I absolutely agree. You know, I absolutely agree. There's no reason for you to do something unless it makes sense. Right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you would buy your house in a heartbeat for 800,000 if it was put on the market. You'd buy it right back for 800 and maybe more. Wouldn't you?
No.
Well, yes, you would. You just
Well,
told me it's
I put all
1-800.
this work into it, and that's what I want to
No,
sell it
no,
for.
no, 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 no. Hold on a second. Have you ever seen the Antique Roadshow?
Yeah.
You know the, sometimes I've seen it too, and I actually love it because I saw this one episode, and this has nothing to do with you, but it just reminds me of pricing. This person brought in this, and this is from Grandpa and Great Grandpa, and they found it on a battlefield, and here's a blood stain still on the sword. Okay, and the guy, the appraiser, pulls it open, examines it, and says, "You don't really got what you think you've got here, bro." Okay, this is a boom, 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 and it's not worth $15,000. It's worth 1,250 bucks maximum. Oftentimes, you know, you perceive to be value isn't what is in reality. And so I will be the first one to tell you that you should just keep your house because it won't be worth selling. Okay. I just want to let you know if we're not able to get what it is that you want in order to replace what you have with what you want, because what you're talking about is replacing what you have in order to get what you want. No one wants to sell a house. Okay. They desire to sell a house to get something else they want. Okay. Why go through all this trouble and hassle to get something what you want if you can't get if it's not worth replacing what you have? And so we're going to have a really healthy conversation about your Civil War sword. And if it doesn't work out, keep it. Okay. If it does work out, let's go to work. Okay. But I'll be the first one to tell you you're not going to get $800,000 and you shouldn't sell your house.
But I want a new one.
Well, maybe you wait a year. Maybe you wait a year.
Todd, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
What about the strategy where you're like, okay, we'll list it at what you want, but I want you to sign this addendum for a reduction in 2 or 3 weeks?
Now we're at a listing presentation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not over the phone anymore.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like when
we're
you
now
get,
now
okay.
yeah, now we are in a presentation. We're not having a conversation over the phone before it come out where they're like, I need 800 or I'm not doing it. I'm not. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. Everybody says it's worth freaking this. I got some really other great dialogue about that as well, but I like to keep these things sort of short. But if they push in, I will go to the Antique Roadshow script that I use and just sort of settle them down. Then I'll take it away from them and say, you know what, maybe you don't have to move. I'm going to be the guy that's going to come out to really tell you whether or not this is going to be worth you moving, and perhaps I'll make the recommendation of you just keeping it. And then that way they see I'm not attached. And
The idea is to
I'm more aligned.
try to get to their house, try to get your
Yeah,
appointment.
I want to get out there. I
Yeah.
want to get out there. You know, they're always much tougher over the phone
Yeah.
than they are in person. And once I'm able to really dig in and identify their desires of what it is they want and why they want to get rid of what they
Mm-hmm.
have to get what they want, to remove what you have to get what you want in anything in life requires some form of transformation and change, and that is difficult. So if the desire for the want is not as great as or is greater than the desire to have what you currently have, then you're probably not going to do anything. Your motivation isn't there to get what it is you want, so you'll settle for what you have. So in this case, the seller, I may suggest, keep what you have. I just want to be real honest with you, and this may not be the best time for you. On the other token, Look what you may be giving away. In order to keep what you have in the transformation, you may not get what you want even later. Let me point this out. Waiting is not necessarily a successful strategy in all markets. Okay. Because of interest rates and the increase of appreciation, you may be moving backwards with your in your position in the market currently. And let's explain this. And so I may, go back to their motivation and then illustrate and point out in a very logical, non-aggressive, but very factual. This is about what you want, not what I want, because what I want is already taken care of. I'm here to help you get what you want in exchange for what you have. And if this is not going to work out, by all means, I don't want to try to influence you in a way that'll make you feel uncomfortable. And so, as we examine what you want in exchange for what you have, is it going to be worth it? And that's the dialogue that I have with them in person. Now, Mary Lee, thank you for bringing this up. Uh, now we're in the presentation, and they want to insist on starting at a higher price. As a real estate professional, then you have the decision and the choice whether or not to take it on, and whether or not the type of customer that you're going to be having to work with, the demands that they're going to have on you, and how effective they are or how motivated they really are to get what they want in exchange for what they have. I've experienced this, and those that have been around a little bit have experienced this too. And if you haven't experienced it, you will. That a seller will say, "Well, if I can't get this price, that I'm not going to move." And it's right at your top threshold where you feel like, "Okay, I will do this. I'm not really excited about it, but I will do it." And then all of a sudden you get into it a week later, and then the seller comes back and says, "Hey, um, what's it going to take to get this property sold?" Because the sign has gone up, they have already mentally moved away from what they have, and the decision of price has become secondary to the primary desire of want. So the price is exchanged. And yeah, I thought for sure a couple of these sellers would never adjust their price. And then they come back to me after a couple of weeks and say, "Todd, what's it going to take to get this property sold?" Well, see, I knew that they were hiding how badly they really wanted to move. And they just wanted to see, out of pride and ego and statement, that they wanted to try to get what they wanted to try, and they have, get one over on the real estate broker. And I've also been surprised on the other direction where I have put it on the market and it did sell for the price that they wanted to. I was like, what the hell? This is a pretty freaking crazy market. And we've added some discussions in the past about taking overpriced listings and what would constitute taking an overpriced listing. Its marketability. Thinking as a business person, if I take this overpriced listing, is it going to be a customer nightmare? Or are they the type of people, if it doesn't sell, I will get a negative review online? What truly is their motivation in selling? Will they sign a pre agreement for an adjustment after X amount of days? Also, is it in a high traffic area where I can create some marketing in terms of open houses, so if it doesn't sell, I'm able to turn a buyer or some other in a neighborhood that I'd like to farm perhaps, and be realistic and be willing to understand the factor that if it's not going to sell, are you able to work it to try to find another sale around it? And also don't let it drain on your market time as a real estate broker. And if they refuse and they are sticklers and not going to adjust after monitoring and measuring and managing the hit counters, the traffic, the flow, the feedback that you're getting from buyers and sellers, and the reality of the market and the statements that it's not going to sell? Are you willing to cut the cord after 40 days or 45 days? And is the seller also in a position where if they're like, hey, I really don't want to sell it, or what will happen with the seller? And you have to have this discussion with them right up front. Douglas is, in 40 days, if it doesn't sell, we're going to cancel the listing. Because then at this point, and this is just really business, and you can even put on a different hat and literally modify and say, hey, Douglas, for a second, let me put on my business hat and take off my friend hat for a second. And I'll literally do one of these motions. Okay. My business hat says you are going to be adversely working against yourself after 40 days if it hasn't sold. And here's why. My friend hat says, let's just run this out forever because I like you and I love you and I want to be around you. My business hat says, this ain't going to work. And you're going to be that discounted steak at the end of the aisle at Fred Meyer's that was once $14. Now you're $8. And no one will still take you home. Okay.
What's your friend's motivation?
What's the motivation?
Yes.
It's just time to move up to a bigger house. His kids are, getting into high school now. He's making more money with VI. He's got, a nice, solid, secure place. He just wants a bigger ego,
Status.
Yeah, his house that he's in is functional and fine. He likes the school district, so we're going to stay in the same area. But he wants a couple of acres. So it's ego, it's status, it's, the kids are getting bigger, they need a little more room. They'd like to not be so close to their neighbors.
Okay. And plus, Scott, you deserve this, and you've worked your tail off for this.
And he has. Well, that's a very good pitch too. That he has absolutely worked his ass off.
You have earned this opportunity, and furthermore, what was it like, and was it a stretch to get into this home? If it was a stretch to get in this home, and look what that stretch has made you as a person. Because you have stretched, you have grown into and surpassed the income required to have the home that you originally purchased. I would just suggest, maybe just merely because you're a salesperson, you know what I'm talking about. Pain is a great motivation for growth, isn't it? So I bet if this next mortgage challenged your income, you would grow into a greater income, wouldn't you?
I like to say that. I like to say that to people too. They deserve it. They do deserve to be a homeowner. Everybody does, and I've been both off and on in my life. And it's really nice to own your own property and have home ownership because you can do what you want to the yard. You can, do whatever you want to your house and have as many pets as you want. And they deserve it. And when you say that to somebody, you can kind of see some people it really sparks. It touches them.
Thank you for sharing that, Marilee.
So when do you have an appointment with your client?
We don't have a set time yet.
It's going to be next week.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
I've been primarily dealing with Scott, and I want to make sure that Nikki's there this next meeting. So
they have Sundays and Mondays off, right?
Yeah, they have Sundays and Mondays off.
Yeah, so we're going out there on Monday.
Yeah, be the last one out.
No, he's going to. I think the only person Scott's working with is Douglas on this deal, anyways.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
he said that he's looked at Redfin and looked at
Yeah.
Zillow, and I mean, he's given
So,
me the standard objections.
so let's see him Monday. Set it up for Monday, like at 1:30, 2 o'clock.
I have appointments Monday afternoon, so it'll have to be in the evening if we do it on a Monday. So,
That's fine. Do it whenever.
but yeah, I'd like to set it up for a lunch, buy him lunch. I don't know if that.
Buy him lunch. No, we're going to get out to his house.
You're in Maple Valley.
Perfect.
drive on over there.
Yeah, Maple
I
Valley.
love it. I drive for dollars. I
Yeah,
do a lot for money. Okay.
we take the ferry for dollars.
Did he
No,
tell
he-
you that?
Lee drives a lot.
No, you don't even drive. Shut up. You're just in the back.
I don't even drive. Jose drove last time. I'm sorry.
So did he tell you that he wants you to do a CMA?
Yeah, we talked about coming up with some real numbers and doing a CMA, and
Okay, Douglas. Here's something that we could do.
That's your cue right
We'll,
there.
we'll talk about it during our time.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Good. So,
Okay.
Jose, did you pick up anything of interest or of value by joining today? Sort of recap.
So I was kind of like on the run because I was packing up some stuff, but I had it on
Yeah.
a loudspeaker and I was still hearing. But one of the main things is with clients and knowing what their motivation is and being upfront and being like, hey, I don't just want to sell your house. I want to know exactly what you want, that you're looking for. And not just as a salesman and just wanting to sell their house, but actually knowing what their motivations are. I think that's a big thing, especially because this is one of the biggest decisions they're going to be making. So
To have a full understanding of what they want to exchange what they have.
correct. Yeah. And that the overpricing thing, I actually just had a similar situation. One lady said she did not validate my valuation that's at the CMA, and she thought in her head was 730, and I told her by 655 to 665. I was like, that's what comps are showing me. I mean, Redfin is gonna say 730, but Zillow says it's 650, but our comps are showing 650, and yeah, she just didn't want to really, she's gonna hold it off for now and wants to get a second opinion. So I was like, all right.
Good. And you know what you say? Hey, I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes. I'll come back with a second opinion. Oh, you need a second opinion? Hold on to that thought. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Another approach to that might have been that, because I have a listing coming up in a couple weeks, and they're telling me that they wanted to go 7.25. I looked at the comps, and we could have pushed 700, but I recommended 675, and only because you got to understand their motive. It goes back down to understanding the motivation. Are they looking for a wheelbarrow full of cash, or are they in need of going to another step in a timely manner? And so, we can sit in the market for 40 days at 750 and not get nothing, and it was all for naught. But if we need to move this in a timely manner, get premium pricing so I can buy, we need to be a little more strategic with our pricing. And so I said, let's go 675, and if it's meant to go to 700, we'll come on Thursday. We'll do a review date on either Monday or Tuesday. We're going to do an open house on Saturday and Sunday and get a lot of foot traffic through here. Let's let the market take us to where it can go. Okay?
Mhm.
Let's don't put it in up above the market to where the market's going to blow right by us, and we're going to be left holding the bag. So at 675, if it's meant to go to 700, the market will take it to 700 or above. And so, anyways, they signed off at 675.
Ooh, closer. All right.
Yeah.
They also get, I think they also get more exposure. They get people in a lower price market. So we explain that as well. And Celine is so good at these listing appointments. I'm talking to them about those kind of things.
Good point, actually. So
Yeah.
you along that line, okay?
I have a 9 o'clock. I got to roll. See you guys. Good discussion.
Real quick, pricing a home at when you're a buyer, every buyer says, "Oh, I want to look at homes at a price point, right? 450, 500." If you price the home at 710, and all the home search buyers out there may be using 700 as a search criteria,
Yeah.
they're going to miss
Yeah.
the 710.
Yeah. Yeah, they go in increments of like 10 and even numbers. And I never list my house at like 695, 995. That's for offers. I like to make my offers really weird like that with the numbers. So they have to kind of think about it a little bit. But with listing, it's always good to go with those even solid numbers and then go a little lower to get, because a lot of savvy buyers will look 50,000, 60, 80,000 lower than what they're looking for. I'm going to be buying and I'm going to start looking at like 200,000 less than what I want to buy for, just to see. You never know, you know.
I have to bounce out. You guys.
Yeah. So
All
yeah, great. Well, good luck, Douglas. I think you should get them scheduled. I'd get them on your calendar right now this morning.
ASAP.
Do it.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
have to do it at their property. Don't do them at lunch. Do it at the house. Get a tour of the
Yeah,
house.
take control. Take
Yes.
control. You're the expert.
Yes, that's what you're
Just
getting paid
get
for.
there. Yep, exactly. Show up like you're already their agent.
Yep.
Own it.
Yeah, own it.
Yeah. All right.
Be golden.